What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to a new show that I thought that I would go ahead and give a shot, which is called The Gist of It. Now, the definition of a gist is the substance or essence of a speech or text, and I would kind of extend that to say the substance or essence of an idea, a thought, anything along those lines, and that's pretty much the general idea of this show. It's going to be very minimally edited, it's not going to have many cuts in it, it's pretty much just going to be an open fountain of thoughts, so to speak, where I'm just talking about my position on a certain idea or a certain issue within gaming and technology, but overall the internet as a whole, the social media platforms, YouTube, Twitch, etc. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, specifically pretty much YouTube and Twitch combined together, and also the kind of content that I've seen growing in popularity over the course of the past couple of months. So the first thing that I want to address is the YouTube and Twitch thing. Okay, so there was this adpocalypse a couple of months back. I'm sure you've heard that term thrown around here on the site before, but pretty much the general happening of that entire circumstance is that advertisers realize that a ton of the content on YouTube is not in fact ad friendly, which I mean, no duh, you should have known that. But a lot of the content here is not ad friendly, and so they pulled all their ads, therefore YouTube lost a ton of revenue, and therefore they had to kind of try and patch up that relationship with the advertisers by taking a lot of the ads off of a lot of the controversial content, which has left a lot of content creators trying to make up more money in the meantime, which means that a lot of them, a ton of them, are jumping over to Twitch, where they're doing IRL streams, where they're doing talk shows, where they are simply playing games. Even if they didn't play games before, they are using Twitch to their advantage to try and maintain this level of income that they had before this entire ad changing and the revenue shifting stuff happened. Now, the majority of the content creators that are still successful on Twitch are those that have been there since it was Justin TV and the very early days of Twitch. But when it comes down to it, you are seeing some people start to kind of get into the gist, if you will, of the entire Twitch atmosphere. You have people like Barnacles. He is a guy that runs a tech channel who does a talk show generally every morning around 8:30 Pacific Daylight Time. And so whenever you are watching that, you'll see that he's pretty much just rambling like he would throughout a YouTube video. And that's a very interesting kind of way to do a live stream, even though it does get kind of he goes off in a lot of different ways, but when it comes down to it, he is kind of stretching the limits of the platform. And then whenever you look at stuff like the H3H3 podcast with Ethan and Hila Klein, that is something that I never thought that I would see on Twitch, a live podcast from two of the biggest YouTubers out there. That's definitely pushing the limits, and I'm seeing a ton of people that are just migrating over to YouTube very, very quickly, and it's kind of shocking, alarming, and comforting, and interesting all at the same time. So that's the first trend that I've been seeing, but on top of that, I have also noticed that a ton of the content that has been coming from a lot of people has been, I'm trying to figure out a good way to phrase this, but pretty much the way the content has been on YouTube from a lot of people recently is survival content. That's what I like to call it, where they're just going through the motions of putting out different kinds of videos that they know are going to get clicks because they need whatever ad revenue that they can get, even if it means they're copying some other content creator. And also new creators that are coming into the space have been doing a lot of copying themselves, and I've been seeing this a lot with vloggers because there are a ton of vloggers out there. It's pretty much one of the easiest styles of content to make, where you carry around a camera with you when you do anything that is either boring or interesting, and you edit it all together into one big montage that describes your day. And so a ton of these new and up-and-coming vloggers have been copying the direct style of Casey Neistat, who is a very successful content creator here on YouTube. If you haven't watched his content, it is absolutely amazing. He's pretty much made his own kind of cinematography. He's developed his own style of editing, of music that he chooses. There is something about his style that is so appealing to the modern youth, the people between the age of, I would say, 15 and 30. It really does appeal to them. And so a ton of people have been pouring into their own vlogs the kind of content that Casey would pour into his. And it's one of those things where it's a little bit disturbing because of my mentality towards YouTube from the very beginning. When I first started doing YouTube, it was pretty much for one reason, and that was to have something or someone or a group of people to talk to about video games, because I did have a couple of people in my life that I could talk to, but not as much as I would, I would want to. And so whenever I started talking about video games and stuff, I found this little community that does care about what I have to say, and so I've been making content for a while, and on top of that, it developed this new creative side of me that I love the different kinds of filmmaking that I can do. I love the different kinds of editing that I can do, and the different kinds of ways ways that I can inject humor into situations that would not normally have humor in them, and I love doing all that stuff. But then you have people that are seeing the success of YouTubers and Twitch streamers, etc., content creators overall, and so they are trying to make it into a career right off the bat. That is not how you do content creation, in my personal opinion. You have to have passion before you even make money. I barely make any kind of money off of YouTube right now. I think over the course of the past 3 or 4 years since I have been doing YouTube, as an independent guy who has not signed with any kind of external company, I've made just about $175, if you really want to break it down. If I'm being truthful here, I've made $175 for making nearly 1,000 videos. I mean, if you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty of it, that is not a big turnaround, but I love doing it. I love talking, I love microphones, I love being on camera, I love all of this stuff, and so I'm going to keep doing it. But there are so many people that are copying the style of bigger YouTubers just to try and get just as rich and famous as them, and they're realizing that, hey, just because I have all the amenities of a Casey Neistat video does not mean that I'm going to be Casey Neistat. So overall, to summarize my entire thoughts on this thing, pretty much there is a declination of creativity on the YouTube platform, while a need for monetary income that is not there. That's pretty much the gist of the issue. Now, when I was first starting out with content creation, I had to have some kind of starting point, just like you would have to have a starting point if you wanted to start making content yourself. And so with that, you have to kind of base your own content off of what someone else has already made. When I started making videos, I based mine heavily off of Boogie2988, where I would sit down, talk to a camera, and just kind of get my thoughts out there. And then I kind of incorporated more planning into it, where you would see stuff that was based off of pretty much G4 TV whenever I was a kid, whenever I would watch shows like Attack of the Show and X-Play, where they would talk about entertainment and tech and video games and all of these cool little ideas. I incorporated that into what I had learned from Boogie, and so therefore I started to make my own style. And that's really what it comes to, is that you have to have a foundation that is made by someone else, but what you bring to the table is where your content shines, and it's that individuality that will eventually get you some kind of following here on a platform like YouTube or Twitch or Twitter or Instagram or any other kind of platform where you make something. You have to have some kind of personality injected into quality content. Those are the two major things: personality and quality. So again, here on YouTube, there is a lack of content creativity, in my opinion, that is combining very, very badly with a desperation for monetary income that is resulting in an overall declination of the quality of the content here on YouTube and the quality of the platform overall. Will it die? Probably not. Will it have a slow and painful death over the course of the next 5 years? More than likely, and that's pretty much the gist of it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the first episode of The Gist of It. I'll be back next Wednesday with another one if this one goes over well, and really I do like this style of content. It's something new, it's something fresh, and I think I'm going to keep trying it for the next couple of weeks at least. But again, if you are new to the channel, I do upload new stuff on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so there's always something new, and I'm streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/TheSamuelAdams doing a playthrough of The Stick of Truth right now. But that's enough of my own kind of advertisement. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the week. I will talk to you soon. Peace.